So this is Nirbhay and welcome back to the another video of AWS Basics to Advanced series. So in this video we will be launching our first EC2 instance and we will be seeing what are the different components that are required, and we will be installing Apache 2 on that EC2, and at the last we will be hosting a simple website onto that. Okay, so firstly what we have to do, you have to simply log in into your AWS console. Okay, so as on my screen you can see I have logged in my AWS account, as you can see. Okay, so if you see some different page not similar like to me, okay, and you want to launch EC2, so what you can do, in the search you can simply type EC2 and you need to hit on this EC2. Okay, so now you will be seeing a dashboard. Okay, so you need to click on this instances. So you can see initially I was having a EC2 instance that I have terminated. So in order to launch a new instance, what you can do, you need to click on this yellow option, that is launch instances. So let I click on that. Okay, now here what you need to do, you need to provide a name to your EC2 instance. So that can be any. So let me provide my first EC2. Okay, so if you click on this add additional tag, so what you can do, like if you drop down this resource type, okay, so here you can see volume is there, network interfaces are there. So if you select this volume or network interfaces, okay, so what this will do, it will apply the name tag to your volume as well as to your network interfaces. Okay, so you can select different resources that you want to tag with the same name. Okay, or if you want to add different tag, let's say environment, if you are doing for production environment or something, so you can write value as prod. Okay, but let it keep simple and I will be using simple name only. Okay, so I will be removing this. Okay, now if you scroll down, you will be seeing there are different OS images are present. Okay, so if you have aware, like we have mostly used three different OS, which are Windows, Linux and Mac OS. Okay, so similarly AWS is also providing three different kind of OS and with different flavors for it. Like for Linux there is Amazon Linux and Mac OS it is, and for Linux again there is Ubuntu, similarly Red Hat, SUSE Linux, Debian. Okay, so there are different flavors, so you can use either. Okay, so for this video I will be using this Amazon Linux. Okay, now in the AMI, like you can see Amazon Linux 2023 AMI is there, and if you scroll down there are different AMIs are present. So what is this AMI? So AMI is kind of ISO image. So AMI is like something, if you may have installed a CentOS or Ubuntu server by using VMware or VirtualBox, so you remember that you download that ISO file. So AMI is that only. Okay, so there are different AMIs available. Okay, so in some AMIs there are SQL Server 2019 pre-installed or 2017 pre-installed. Okay, so you can select that also, but for this video, as this 2003 AMI is free tier eligible, means it will not cost us any charge. Okay, so I will be selecting this only. Okay, and there is architecture, that is 86, and ARM also, so preferably I will be selecting this 86 only. And there again there is instance type. Okay, so what are this instance type? So you can see there are different instance type mentioned, like t2.micro, t2.nano. Okay, so if you see, like t2 is basically its family. So in t2.micro it consists of 1 vCPU and 1 GB memory, that can be also called as 1 GB of RAM. Okay, and there are different pricing that are available, like how much it will be costing, like per USD per hour. Okay, so there are like different types are available which consist of different size, like t2.small it will consist of 1 vCPU and 2 gigs of memory. Okay, similarly there are many. Okay, so I will be selecting this t2.micro only, and as a free tier and for learning purpose I recommend that you should also use this t2.micro only. Okay, now the things come like key pair login. Okay, so if you drop down, like I don't have any key pair. Okay, so I will need this key pair to log in into my system. So you can see there are different key pair formats are available, like .pam, .ppk. Okay, so if your system is running on Windows 10 or above, okay, or you are using Linux or Mac OS, then you can download this PAM key. Okay, or suppose if your system is before that Windows 10, like Windows 7 or something, okay, then you can download this .ppk. So let me provide it any name, like demo key. Okay, so I'm providing this name as demo key. Now I will simply click on this create key pair. Okay, so what it will do, it will download a private key into my system, and that public key will be already enforced with the system. Okay, so that is already available with the system. We are downloading our private key with us. Okay, so I will simply click on this create key pair. So it has started downloading and it has downloaded that demo key pair. Okay, now if you scroll down in network setting, you can see there are different. VPC is already selected and subnet is like no preference is given to subnet. So no problem, I will be covering all these things, like we will be creating new VPC and we will be creating public and private subnet in some other videos. Okay, so for now let's keep it simple, and I will be using this default one and I will be giving no preference. And you can see I have enabled this auto public assign IP to enabled. Okay, and in security group I am creating a new security group, and in that what I am doing, I am allowing the SSH traffic from anywhere. You can see from anywhere. And as I will be installing Apache 2 and hosting a simple website onto that, so I will be needing this HTTP traffic also that, and as I am not securing that website, so I can just ignore this HTTPS. Okay, or if you click on this edit, you can see like by default only one VPC was there, which was default, and subnet total 3 was there, in which I have given no preference, and I have using this auto assign public IP to be enabled. And security group name, it is shown as like launch wizard 1, so I can rename it with any other like first SG or something like that, and similarly I will paste in that description also. So this is only that security group, that rule that I have created. So if you scroll down and see this configure storage option, okay, so in this if I click on this advanced option, okay, and click on the drop down, and you can see like we are selecting the storage type as EBS. Okay, so what is basically this EBS volumes are? So think of it like a hardware or hard drive that is attached to your system. In that operating system is being installed, so it is like a hard drive only, hard drive or SSD you can think. Okay, so how much size it is of? It is of 8 GB. Okay, and its type is GP3, and it is its network's IO speed. Okay, and you can see there is an option delete on termination, which is selected by default as yes. So what it does, like whenever you terminate your instance, so it will also terminate your EBS volume also. Okay, and in this you can see it is not encrypted, so you can encrypt it or let it be unencrypted also. So now if you scroll down and click on this advanced detail, so let's scroll down. So if you want to join this server to a domain, so you can select that, or if you want to use a profile or role with this, so you can select that. Like if you want to give access to this server to a specific S3 bucket or something, or to other any service, so you can select that particular role also. Okay, so to keep this video simple, I am not selecting anything, and just scroll down. So here I will be providing a user data. So what is this user data? Okay, so anything you provide here, it will bootstrap to this server. Okay, means so when the server is launching, at that time only it will install those files. Okay, so what I want to install, so I will be installing a simple Apache on that. Okay, so you can simply search for this EC2 user data script install Apache in Linux. Okay, you can search for this, and in the starting only like by Google, you will be seeing a code like this. Okay, so you can simply copy this, okay, and paste into here. Okay, so what is basically it is doing, it is using bash, and it is updating all the packages, and it is installing that Apache, and it is starting that Apache service, and it is enabling that service. Okay, and last it is creating an HTML file at this location, in which it is using this header tag, and it is saying hello from Apache on EC2. Okay, so I have provided all the details, and in the summary you can see then how many number of instances I am launching. So it is 1, which AMI I have used, so it is this one, like Amazon Linux 2023, and my server type is of t2.micro, and I have created a new security group, and it is with 8 gigs of storage. Okay, so I will just simply click on this launch instance. Okay, so it is shown like successfully initiated launch of instance. Okay, so I can simply click on this, and it will take me to the new tab where it will show my like instance that is being launching. Okay, so either you can go with this way, or in the back you can click on this instances option, and there also you can, if you refresh this page, you will be seeing like my instance was there. So now it is in initializing state. Okay, so let me show you some details about this. Okay, so in details you can see there is a instance ID. So this is a unique ID that is by default associated to any EC2. Okay, and you can see there is a public IP that is been attached and private IP that is been attached. Okay, and status is in running state, and you can see here is a public DNS for my EC2, okay, as well as there is a private DNS for my EC2, okay, and it is VPC ID, subnet ID and ARN, and in below if you scroll down more you can see the key pair that I have used, so it was demo key, okay. So in the status and alarm you can see both checks were initializing, like system status checks and instance status check, okay. So once this is both has been ready, like then it will showing as 2x2 check pass, so then we will able to access our server, okay. Now in the next step, that is monitoring, so you can monitor our utilization of the server, like CPU utilization, network in bytes, network out bytes, network packets in count, and there are many things, and you can customize this also, okay. And in the next tab, if you go in security, and you will see the security group that is been attached to our server. So if I open this in a new tab, so you can see there are two inbound rules that we have allowed. So first one, it was for HTTP, okay. So we are allowing HTTP traffic onto our server by using port 80 from where, from anywhere, means any source can access HTTP services on port 80 on this server, okay. And secondly, we are allowing SSH type on port 22 from anywhere, like by using this SSH port 22 we can SSH to our server, we can access to this server, okay. So let I go back, and in networking you can see there is a VPC ID that is been associated with this, and subnet ID, okay. There are public IP, private IPv4, and there are DNS like public DNS and private IP for DNS, okay. So in the last you can see there is a volume that was attached to it, so it was of 8 GB size, okay. So if I click on this volume, so you can see we have its name by default, like my first EC2, okay. So if you remember, like while launching our EC2 instance, in the name tagging section we have selected different resources, in that we have selected volume also. So with the help of that only, it has automatically added that tag name into this volume also. Then similarly it will be in the network interface also, like this was ENI, and if I click on this, you can see its name was also there, like with my first EC2, and you can change that also by going into tag, and you can add more tag also. So let me close this both, okay. So hoping that it is now with 2x2 checks pass, okay. So now our system is with 2x2 checks pass, okay. So now I will be showing you two different methods by using that you can SSH to this system, okay. So the first one will be using by portal only, okay. So by portal, how you can connect to the system? So you can simply click on this connect option, that is you can see here, like if I click on this connect, there are various options like EC2 instance connect, session manager, SSH client, and EC2 serial console, okay. So these are the various methods by using that you can connect to this server, okay. So the simplest way would be like using this EC2 instance connect. So if you click on this connect, so you can see it is establishing connection, and now we are successfully connected to our Linux instance. So this is the first method, that is too easy, okay. But remember, this is something that is enabled by default for AWS Linux instances, okay. So if the instance is of some other type like Ubuntu or some other type, okay, then in that we need to install this agent, okay. So might be in your case you won't be seeing this option enabled, okay. So in that case what we can do, we can use a second method, that is using our PAM key that we have recently downloaded, okay. So in order to connect to this instance by using the downloaded PAM key, you need to click on this SSH client option, okay. Now you can see there are various tabs given on this, okay. So like run this command if necessary to ensure your key is not publicly viewable, okay. So if you are someone that is using Linux or Mac OS, okay, so what you can do, you can open the path where your PAM key is being stored, okay, and you can run this command simply, like you can see like I have moved that downloaded PAM key to another folder, okay. So you can see like demo key.pam is there, okay. So if your system was Mac, okay, so what you can do, you can simply open that in terminal, and you can simply run this command, that is chmod and enter. But it is not Mac, this is Windows, so it will not work, okay. So if you are using Windows, then how you can do these changes and how you can access to your Linux system, okay. So for demonstration, let us open this in PowerShell. So for that you can simply type in the search bar like PowerShell.exe, and you can hit on this enter. And if I try to run this command, okay, that is SSH command, you can see if I click on yes, so it is not allowing me, and it is saying like warning unprotected private key file, like it is saying permission for demo key are to open. Okay, so we need to restrict some of these accesses, like we need to only provide this key with read only access to all user, like to you or to group or to anyone. Okay, so how we can do this? Okay, so first method would be simply, let I copy this and put it in another file also, like with temp. Okay, so what you can do, you can click on this key file and right click on it and click on this properties and go to security and click on this advanced option below, and here you will be seeing a page like that. So if you are the owner, like with the account that you have logged in, if you are the owner and you can see like owner was your ID only, so then you have no problem. Okay, if you are showing some other user or if this was downloaded by some other user, then you can change, click on this change and make yourself as a owner. Okay, so assuming that you are the owner and you have downloaded, mostly it will be you only. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to click on this disable inheritance option. Okay, and click on this remove all inherited permission for this object. Okay, and click on this add, click on this setup principal, and here you need to provide the username. Okay, so it for me it was, just type the initials of your name and click on this check names. Okay, and it will provide that username. Okay, and click on this OK, and you will see like basic permission, and by default it is selected as read and execute and then read. Okay, so you need to uncheck this read and execute. Okay, so once you uncheck this, click on this OK with only read permission and click on this apply, OK, and then OK. Okay, so I was in temp folder. Okay, so let me, from my PowerShell, let me go to temp folder, temp. Okay, and if I do ls, you can see my file was there. Okay, now if I try to run this SSH, you can see I am able to connect to the Linux system. Okay, so this was the one method, but it is kind of some long process it will take. Okay, so I will show you one more method. Okay, so for that it will, firstly it will take some time, but next time it will be easy for you. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to install this git bash. Okay, because by using this you can run the Linux command in your Windows system also. Okay, so you need to just type this git bash for Windows, go to this downloads and click on this Windows. Okay, and click on here to download. Okay, so it will start downloading for you. Okay, so once it is downloaded, you need to just click on hitting that next, so you can install that. Okay, so I have already installed this. Okay, so what I will be doing, let I go one step back where I have already pasted a copy of this my demo key.pem. Okay, so here I need to just right click on a open space. Okay, so I will be right clicking, and here sometimes you would see like git bash also. Okay, but now I am not seeing, so I will click on show more option, and you need to select on this open git bash here. So I need to click on this. Okay, so you can see it has opened this folder in my git bash. Okay, so if I do ll, that is list long, so let me enlarge it. Okay, so now you can see for my demo key file, okay, you can see there is write access also there. Okay, for me. Okay, so I need to remove this write access only. So what I can do, I can use this command, that is chmod demo key.pem. Okay, so I will run this command, click on paste, enter. Okay, so now if I again type ll, so you can see now write permission has been removed. Okay, so I can simply run this ssh command, go to git bash and run this. You can see now I am logged into my Linux system. Okay, so now as we have installed our Apache service, okay, so let's see whether it is running or not. So to see whether it is running or not, we can type systemctl status httpd and I will click on enter. So you can see it is showing as active and running, means our Apache service is been running. Okay, click this. So to exit, just I have entered this queue. Okay, let me clear this so that I go back to my terminal. Okay, so as we have installed Apache and we have also placed an index.html file where it will say hello from Apache 2 on EC2. Okay, so let's see whether it is working or not. Okay, so if I again go back and if I copy its public IP, so it was 3.109 something. Okay, so if I paste it, okay, and click on enter, so you will see it is not showing, like this site can't be reached. So why it is showing like that? So if you click on this URL in the test bar, if you go in the start of this, you can see by default the URL was trying to hit this IP by using HTTPS. Okay, so we have not enabled SSL in our website, okay, or neither we have allowed that HTTPS port, so it will not allow. Okay, so to access it, so as our site was unsecured and we have allowed only HTTP port only. Okay, so what we can do, we can remove this S from here, and if I again click on enter, so now you can see it is saying hello from Apache on EC2. Okay, so that means it is working. So either you can access this site by using this IP by typing HTTP, or you can use this public DNS name also. So what was that public DNS name? So in the instances only, in detail section, if you see here, like public DNS was there. Okay, so if you copy this and if I paste in another tab, so if was not accessible, so again you have to go into the URL and in the start and just remove that S from URL. Okay, then your site will be accessible. Okay, so this is all about this video, where we have installed our first EC2 instance and we have installed Apache into that, and we have hosted a simple website onto it. So in the next part, we will be creating our VPC and we will be creating public and private subnet, and we will be spinning up two different EC2 instances on both subnets, and we will see what are internet gateway, what are NAT gateways, and many more things. So till now, bye bye.